Good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Evil Within. You are here with Morris, and at the end of the last part, we had just been in a horrible ambulance crash. But you know what? If you're going to crash in anything, it should probably be an ambulance, right? You know, because then you just got the supplies right there. I mean, we found a syringe, a handy health syringe on here. That's how it works, right? They just put healing stuff in syringes, inject you, you're all right. You can all of a sudden you can run again. You're not limping. Makes perfect sense. So yeah, we're actually getting into the game proper. That chapter 1, really just the introduction. Chapter 2 is where it all begins. Oh wow, this is a bit dire. Merry Christmas, by the way! By my reckoning, it should be Christmas Day. If you're watching this on Christmas Day, then wow, you're beautiful. But you should probably go and spend a bit more time with the family, maybe. Actually, this is quite a special Christmas. For our family in particular. My sister actually gave birth to a little baby boy just about a week ago now. So I've officially become an uncle. And you know what? Is there a greater present than that around Christmas in addition to the family? I don't think so. We're all over the moon. So that's I don't need anything else this Christmas. I got everything. It's great. But I don't know, hey, there's nothing like, you know, an extra addition to the family to make you feel like an old man. But you know what? There's nothing to make you feel more like a young buck than playing some Evil Within, you know, shooting some zombies. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Hey there, I just want to talk to... Oh, God. Oh, okay, ignore that, Like a glove. Oh, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like the best scenario right here. I love how the gun pops up in the top left there. Straight away.
Connolly?
Whoa, that's a little. Oh, that's a little much. Holy hell! Now this. Do you want to sit down, son? There we go.
My God, Connolly.
This opening confrontation right here. This probably looks a little familiar if you played Resident Evil 1 or Remake. Because that is, of course, the famous shot where either Jill or Chris discovers that it's actually zombies that are the problem. That is basically a shot-for-shot remake of that original Resident Evil 1 scene. And it's you know, it's unashamedly referencing Resident Evil 1. And you know what? I see absolutely no problem with that. For people who are familiar with Resident Evil games, you're gonna look at that and you're gonna go, "Oh, Resi 1, I remember that. Oh yeah, that's, you know, it wouldn't be very scary to you. It would just be like a nice little homage. You might not even appreciate it at all. You might go, well, that's not original. You know, you could be very harsh about that. But the way I see it is, that was like 20 years ago when that shot came out. So for me, hopefully, what this has done is just scared the crap out of an entirely new generation of kids. That's what I hope that's done, you know? And I absolutely don't see a problem with that. And then one day, you know, they'll grow up and they'll be like, oh, that's what that's from. Oh, I understand it now. And then that generation will go on to appreciate Resident Evil games.
Hurts! Whoa.
And you know what? I don't see a problem with that.
Were you warning me about this? You are Leslie, right? I'm a police officer. Maybe I should help you.
Should help you.
Shit. How am I gonna get you to a hospital? Hospital!
Damn it,
What the
Leslie.
fuck?
What the f... See what I mean about Mr. Personality? Alright, disarming traps. So traps are a big deal in this game. Probably more traps than actual enemies. And when you disarm traps, you get trap parts. And trap parts can be used to make bolts for the Agony crossbow, which is, I mean, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but that's valuable stuff, so we want to be disarming as many traps as possible. But of course you can actually use traps to defeat enemies as well, so It's a nice little feature. Maybe a bit overdone. There's certainly one sequence in particular I'm thinking of way later in the game that's just, it's trap central. But I want to talk a little bit more about that first encounter. Because it's not just Resident Evil 1 that you can compare it to. You can pretty much compare it to any sort of first encounter with any zombie in any zombie game, right? Now, when Resident Evil 4 first came out, just drop a match on you, I'll explain that later. When Resident Evil 4 first came out, I mean, what, it was 2005, so I would have been 15, and I think in my sort of circle of friends at the time, I was one of the last, if not the last, to actually start playing Resident Evil 4. And I remember one conversation. Why did my controller just go nuts there? I remember one conversation that I was having with a friend of mine, and he was talking about when you first go in the house and you see that first guy, you know, and it's like freeze. I said freeze, and then you shoot him and you kick him and you do whatever. I remember him saying that it's amazing how, you know, you can shoot a guy in the head and he'll clutch his face, or you can shoot a guy in the arm or the leg and they'll hold that part of the body, they'll actually react to where you shoot them. And back then that was amazing. Like, that was new. I had certainly never seen it before in anything. Enemies reacting to how you defeat them. Nowadays, that's standard, right? If they don't react, we feel like we've done something wrong, or we feel like, you know, we just straight up missed, you know. But that, you know, you see it in first person. You know, you play a couple of first person shooter games for the last sort of 3 or 4 years. You shoot guys all the time, they react to stuff. You shoot them in the leg, they start limping. You shoot them in the head, you expect that to be a kill, right? So you kind of go into this game with that mentality. That kind of, if I shoot a guy, he's going to react in some way. But you saw that, I shot that guy in the head, and all he really did was kind of stumble a little bit to the side, right? It kind of staggered him slightly, but not so much. And actually, as we go through the game, the enemies get tougher. You can shoot guys right in the face, and they'll just keep coming at you. And this is what I'm talking about playing with kind of your expectations. Journal of Sebastian Castellanos, November 2004. Finally got my gold badge, Detective Sebastian Castellanos. I like the sound of that. Seems like a long time coming, but they say that I'm one of the fastest ever to rise through the ranks. Can't wait to get started. And I know that I can do more good as a detective than I ever could as a beat cop. But I don't have to wear that damn uniform anymore. Hey, you know what? We all like no uniform days, right? The pay bump doesn't hurt either. KCPD needs all the help they can get. There's a seemingly disproportionate amount of crime these days. Crimson City is my home, and it's my job to protect it. What the... Ah! God, I was like, that mirror's supposed to crack any second. Whoa, it cracked. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about playing with your expectations, you know? So you kind of go into that first confrontation expecting to shoot that guy in the head, and he'll just go straight down, you know, or he'll stagger back, and you'll have a chance to melee him, you know, because why else would they even have a melee button in the game, right? But it doesn't work like that. And that single encounter, for me at least, that changes the way you approach the entire game. Because all of a sudden, you know there's going to be ammo constraints.
That was a bad dream, or this is.
But you start thinking the ammo constraints are going to be a lot more serious than they first appear. Just because, you know, you're not going to be able to wail on guys all the time. You're going to have to be a little bit smarter about it. Get those headshots in whenever you can. How much green goop do we have to upgrade here? Just want to check that out. 1,800, that's... Well, we'll check what we can get. Some of the upgrades are affordable at this point. So yeah, this is actually the first time that we're seeing this properly. We've got abilities, weapons, and stock. And actually the upgrade system in this game is pretty good. It's all pretty useful. We got life gauge, maximum sprint time, melee damage. Melee damage is pretty useless until it's right up to level 5 there. So we're probably going to hold off. Well, we're probably not going to do that at all throughout the whole game. That's a new Game Plus thing, I think. We got syringe recovery, and we go down to our weapons. We only have the one weapon at the moment. We got damage, fire rate, reload time, clip, accuracy, critical. This is all stuff that, again, you play Resident Evil 4, you're probably used to this kind of stuff, definitely. We got stock though, handgun ammunition, grenades, syringes, and matches. But I think for now, I'm gonna just boom the critical up. Because this is like the most OP shit ever, right? You get your weapons on max critical, and it just makes the game so much easier. But yeah, we'll have a cheeky save at this point as well. Thank you. So yeah, all of a sudden you're going into this game knowing that you're not going to be able to just... Even if you're a good aim, that's not going to be enough. You know, you're going to have to be a little bit smarter about how you take on enemies. Alright, let's move on. And we got a torch back there as well. This is like our best friend for the whole game. And I kind of like how when you don't have a weapon out, he kind of just holds it in front of him. That's a nice little detail they didn't have to put in, but it looks great. And then, of course, when you get a weapon out, it just snaps to your side, but still. My God. Now, this situation is another interesting one. So if we just go a little bit further, you see sneak kills. Comes up there, right? Very intrusive. So when you're sneaking, you hit X behind an enemy, you're going to be able to sneak attack him, right? And the way this guy's banging... Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Jeez. The way this guy's banging on that door, you think, oh, I'm just going to be able to run up straight away, sneak attack him, right? Nope. Once you get past a certain point, or leave it too long like I did, he just straight up spins around. And all of a sudden you got to shoot that guy. That's kind of weird. Again, playing with your expectations. The first kill, the first sneak kill especially, you never expect them to turn around, you know? It's usually always a situation specifically set up for you to just get an easy sneak kill, just so you know how it works. But that one kind of teaches you the hard way that that's not always going to be the case. And you actually saw us drop a match on a guy before. That's another of this game's sort of major mechanics, I guess. It's underused and overused at exactly the same time, because some guys, you know, I guess aren't active straight away. They'll either be lying down, you think, oh, it's just a corpse, but then later on they'll get up. Maybe you trigger it. Maybe it just, you know, happens after a certain amount of time or whatever. But and you know, you drop a match and then they'll writhe about in agony, and you go, oh, I dropped a match, I killed him, great. But some guys aren't even like that. Soma just, you'll drop a match and then, like the first guy that we even used it on, you drop a match, he doesn't even react. He's just already dead, and you know he was never going to get up. But you can actually use it. It can give you a bit of that tactical advantage. If you got a group of guys running at you, you know, you can shoot them in the leg, they fall over, drop a match. That's an instant kill right there. Can be very handy in a pinch.
Hey, are you guys from around here? I don't know where...
Can't go on.
Now you can't say that doesn't look awesome. Although it's interesting that that happens to, like, I mean, well, we've killed 2 guys already. You know, you'd think that would be the introduction to this type of enemy, but no, not quite. But I think it's important that you see 2 of them in that cutscene, because that's the type of enemy that this is. You know, it might be bog standard. You know, you sort of you can equate it to The Last of Us, really. They've kind of got that. There's this whole thing of, if you have one enemy on his own, it's probably not going to be that much of a problem. You're not going to have too much difficulty. But you drop a second guy in there, a third guy, even a fourth, all of a sudden the game changes completely. You know, you got to be so much more methodical about which one you take out first, and kind of when you're sneaking, you know, you've got to kind of carve your way through the whole environment. And I think this is what this situation was, I guess, attempting to teach us. Ah, that does feel good, I gotta say. And again, with The Last of Us, you've got this whole, you know, they're not so bright, these guys. So, you know, if they see a corpse, they're not gonna really be that bothered with it, you know. But they react heavily to sound. So, you know, you can distract people with them. So yeah, this is a good example of burning. I don't think this chick gets up, but you kind of... It's almost... When you're going through the first time, you have that debate with yourself. It's like, do I want to take the chance? Do I want to keep the matches for myself, just in case? Or do I want to kind of... Just do it now. Just kind of, you know, don't take any chances with it. I don't think there's any other items around here. Alright, let's move. And I actually like to... I don't normally use these for distractions, these bottles. Because when you're sneaking, as you can see, the view is quite restrictive, again, because of the letterboxing. But actually, if you hold L2 to aim, the arc comes up, and you can just see so much more. Like... So often I'll just go around areas like this, no intention of throwing it, it's just so I can see a bit more. Like, you take it off, all of a sudden, you know, Sebastian takes up like 30% of the whole screen. My god.
I feel like I'm being pulled just looking at it.
I have a feeling there's more to this area. Like, it kind of reminds me of, again, RE4, when you go to the edge of that dock, and if you fire a few pot shots into there, then the Lagers comes up and just chomps on you. But you don't really have the ammo to get away with that one. Alright, let's keep it moving. So this is the first kind of, I would say the first major area in the whole game. And what I mean by major area is it teaches you a lot about the whole game. You know, you've got a wide open area, so you know that there's maybe a few different ways you can go about taking out all the enemies. You've got optional areas, which we're going to get to. They're actually all the way over there, but we're not going to go for those just yet. You've got traps. You've got more bottles, you've got more things to distract enemies. And you've got the enemies themselves, and you can kind of learn a bit more about how to get around them, how to fight them. So it's just kind of a nice little opening section. And it's not too tough either. But I tell you one thing, I will say is I was playing... I mentioned that I was trying to go through Akumu mode, which is, if you didn't quite catch it in the last episode, it's basically one hit and you're dead. You know, anything kills you, and we're talking enemy attacks, we're talking traps, we're talking absolutely anything that might hit you, it kills you instantly, which is really tough. I don't think I've played anything tougher since Metal Gear Rising Revengeance difficulty. That was absolutely insane. At least you die in one hit, you know? But one thing that struck me about that difficulty was this opening area completely changes. Because my tactic, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, is when you're faced with an area like this, you immediately go to the back and you work your way back to the front where you started. Because chances are you can get sneak attacks on like every single enemy, right? Or at least it makes sense that you'd be able to do that. But that is absolutely not the case here. In the harder difficulty, all of a sudden you've got more enemies, for starters. You've got less resources. The enemies seem to be a little bit more aware of your presence as well. You can't just kind of... There's no kind of ample opportunity to start sneaking up on every single enemy. You've got to take a few more risks. And it completely changes sort of how you approach the game, really. It's interesting, because I thought that, you know, you play through this game once and that would be it. You know where the items are, you know where the scares are. But that's absolutely not the case. It changes it up. I think a lot of people were condemning this game because the bosses, in particular, all have sort of one-hit kill moves. And that was kind of a big talking point. It was like, well, do we really want that? Does that make for a good boss fight? I don't think it matters which camp you're in on that, but all of a sudden you put it on the harder mode, the one-hit kill mode, and all of a sudden the bosses actually become the easiest thing in the entire game. Where's that bottle? You know, it's weird how that ended up working out, to be honest. Alright, buddy. Just stay there, you just carry on with your little inspection, everything's gonna be fine. Now you are dead. But yeah, I was honestly amazed at the level of difficulty. I like it though, I like the challenge. It's going to annoy the hell out of me for a very long time, probably. Just hotkey that. I like the little hotkey system. It's very much a PC thing. Hotkeying items, right? But I like it when console versions just make that little bit of effort. So you can already tell this combat system is... It is very Last of Us. No doubt about it. And whilst you can make that comparison, I mean, is that a bad thing? I love the combat in The Last of Us. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, Sebastian. No mercy for these guys, right? So yeah, this is the little optional area that I mentioned before. I think it's important to have this here. Because it just kind of... It immediately gives you that sense of, I should explore whenever I can. I should absolutely just, you know, take whatever opportunity I can to just absolutely, you know, go over every part of this game. I think it's important to encourage that early on. You know, make it obvious. So then for me, I was playing this entire game sort of always on the lookout for, you know, just extra little things. Those map fragments, by the way, that's like another sort of little extra, I guess. I believe you get, I think maybe you get a weapon when you get all the map fragments. It's just one of those collectibles, you know. I haven't actually done it myself though. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Oh, wait. Unlucky. Oh, and he left me some goop. Thank you so much. And these keys, by the way, you saw me smash a statue before, and then pick up a key, and I didn't really actually mention what that is. It's another area that's next to your little save room and upgrade room, and there's all these safes there, and you collect these little optional keys, and basically just to unlock those saves and get bonus goodies. And by putting that key there, again, just gives you another reason to explore a little more. It's like, oh well, if I actually go to this area, I might find another key and get some bonus goo. Or some bonus ammo, or whatever else. Sometimes you just get bonus keys. Alrighty. Come on, buddy. You know you want it. Oh, unlucky, son. Unlucky. Now you burn. Sorry, buddy. Whoa, what the hell happened to that? Bear trap just morphed into oblivion. Alright, let's just scour the rest of this area for a few cheeky items and then we'll move on. So yeah, Akumu mode, way more enemies. And I actually completed this area as well. I spent, it must have been maybe over half an hour actually ending up completing this area. And I say over half an hour, that was on the actual complete run as well. Like, I won't mention the fact that it took me like 6 or 7 tries to actually get to that point. So yeah, I was doing it for half an hour. Got to here. I knew that there were 2 bodies here, right? Drop a match. Boom. So you know they were going to get up, right? You know they were going to get up and attack. Like, he just tried to. So I dropped them there and I immediately relaxed. I looked up, 2 more enemies. One of them grabbed me, killed me instantly. Must have been about 35-40 minutes progress. Went right back to the start. Unbelievable. It's heartbreaking, honestly. I don't even think the bodies are even here on normal. But I think that's great. It's a good way to scale the difficulty properly, you know? It's not just like, oh, these enemies have armor now. Oh, these enemies have more health for no reason. For me, that's a proper scale. Increase the challenge properly. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's move on. Okay, I guess we ain't going back. Checkpoint, alright. Well, I'm going to, I guess I'm going to pause it for now, guys, but thank you very much for watching this episode of The Evil Within. Merry Christmas, once again, if you are watching this on Christmas Day, and Merry Christmas if you're not watching on Christmas Day, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, well, congratulations, you don't have to buy presents that people don't want and won't use for people you never see. So that's, more power to you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode of The Evil Within, and I do hope to see you in part 3. See you in a bit, guys. See you later.